This news anchor reported a serious accident live on air. Then she realized it was her husband's car. Please don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to receive everything that's new. One day in April 2017, Supreet Kaur was anchoring her usual broadcast on IBC 24 when she received breaking news of a fatal car accident. 5 people were involved in the two-vehicle collision, which had left 2 injured and 3 dead. But as she was reporting the details of the incident, the horrific truth suddenly dawned on the journalist. One of the casualties was her very own husband. Specifically, an SUV had slammed into a truck in the Indian town of Pithora, and as Kaur reported on the collision, she touched base with a reporter who had arrived at the scene. The journalist on the ground naturally began to describe the area and the cars involved. But as the details unfolded, Kaur started to worry about her husband, since she knew he'd been in the area at the time. Even more disturbingly, he'd been driving the same make of car as that being described by the reporter. Meanwhile, the reporter on the scene actually knew that one of the casualties was Kaur's husband, but she avoided naming the victims on air. She did, however, give a good enough description of the area and the vehicles for Kaur to figure out that one of the casualties was probably her husband, Harshad Kawade. It was news that would have rocked anyone to the core, and yet, incredibly, Kaur's reaction was non-existent to the untrained eye. In fact, her voice barely wavered, and she kept a steady tone throughout the completion of the broadcast. And now her ability to remain calm and to deliver the report professionally without stumbling over the words or breaking down with emotion is being heralded as a remarkable feat. For a moment, her voice trembled, but she collected herself and carried on reading the news. Ravikant Mittal, ABC 24's editor-in-chief, told the Associated Press, "We're proud of her as a journalist. Our organization will always be there for her." But to make matters even worse, Kaur was reading a list of briefings and actually had to stay on air for a full 10 minutes after reporting the accident. Her emotions got the better of her after the broadcast, however. Once she was away from the cameras, she understandably burst into tears. Tragically, she soon confirmed with the on-scene reporter that one of the casualties was indeed her husband. And so later she tearfully contacted loved ones to inform them of the sad news. A station editor said they'd been trying to protect Kaur from the horrible truth until she was off the air. Even though the reporter on the ground did not give out names, the team could tell that she'd found out, he told the Indian Express. The production team had also just found out but couldn't tell her as she was live on television. It speaks volumes about her sense of duty and professionalism that she continued and kept her calm for another 10 minutes, he added. Kaur's husband was with 4 other people when their vehicle was hit by a truck. A police officer reported terrible damage and was immediately able to confirm that 3 people had been killed. There were 5 people in the Renault Duster vehicle that they were traveling in, and another unidentified vehicle, most likely a truck, hit them from behind, he told the Indian Express. The damage to the vehicle was terrible and 3 people died and 2 others grievously injured. Kaur's husband, Harshad Kawade, a Raipur resident, was one of the dead. Kaur and Kawade had been married for just a year and did not have any children, despite some reports claiming they had a daughter. The couple lived together in Raipur, where the news company IBC is based. Kawade was just 31 years old when he died, and 2 of his friends also lost their lives in the same accident. Information about the details surrounding the collision, however, is limited. Meanwhile, after Kaur's broadcast was shared around the world, sympathizers reached out via social media to share their condolences. But many also wanted to applaud Kaur for her bravery. Indeed, the world was stunned by how Kaur had managed to barely flinch while receiving such horrific news. Some also considered the tragic 2-minute video to be proof of her exceptional professionalism. Indeed, many people tweeted their amazement at Kaur's unswerving composure. For example, fellow journalist Minaz Merchant sent his condolences, saying that Kaur had displayed amazing grace during the broadcast. And judging from the outpouring of support offered to her, it was clear that the public agreed. Politicians also chimed in to pay their respects following the tragedy and to show their admiration for the anchorwoman. Shivraj Singh Chouhan, the chief minister of the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh, said that the newscast was heartbreaking to watch. And alongside other regional leaders, he extended his deepest sympathies. To some, though, it seemed extraordinary that Kaur didn't react to such tragic news. Indeed, other anchors have broken down on screen when confronted with similar situations. In fact, such overt displays of emotion have been celebrated for humanizing the profession. Kaur's lack of reaction and her immense sense of professionalism have earned her just as much applause as was given to those who showed their emotions. Kaur had been working with the network since its start in 2008. She's a popular news anchor, which can be clearly seen from the warm messages sent her way. In the meantime, her family have revealed something that might explain why she was able to hold it together so well. It turns out that Kaur had also lost her father years ago to a car accident. And perhaps that terrible familiarity might be the reason why she was able to appear so calm on air and remain poised and collected in subsequent interviews. Furthermore, Kaur has remained tight-lipped about funeral plans for her late husband. However, it appears that there was not a public memorial for Kawade, and not surprisingly, Kaur has not tweeted since the accident. But when she was finally asked as to how she kept her composure, even when faced with such devastating realization, Kaur could not explain. And when told by Hindustan Times reporter that people had called her brave, the grieving widow remained expressionless. She did, though, have some words to say about her late husband. "Whenever my husband used to ask me where I was, I would reply, 'Watch the TV, you'll get to know,'" Kaur told the Hindustan Times. "I was very reserved, but he drew me out of my shell. He was my life and taught me how to be happy. He always appreciated my journalism." The remarkably stoic anchor also had words of appreciation for her well-wishers. She added, "I'm thankful to everyone supporting me at this difficult time." Please share this video with your friends below. Please don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to receive everything that's new.